Good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible to you. May I get a quick confirmation over the YouTube chat box? Am I audible to you? Yes. Good evening, everyone. Awesome. Great. So, welcome you all to the Advanced Audit and Assurance orientation for our attempt of December. So, mostly what I've heard from the students that they have this fear for the December attempt, that it is unreasonably a little more difficult than other attempts. But I don't believe so, because you might have heard this year for like for SBR, I would still say that yes, in December the pass percentages are a bit low, but then for AAA, it's not that huge a case. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be giving your exam in December, because it's an opportunity for the students who are sitting for the December attempt and are well prepared. You would actually be, challenged in the paper, and the people who would have prepared really well would be able to pass. So that means, your competition is going to reduce, and you can stand out in your exam. Okay, so that's what I've seen. And if I say that some papers are difficult in December attempt, I've also seen many of my students getting ranks in December attempt only, because then you get a chance to stand out. So that is why this paper is like already very technical, and I have seen people getting afraid of this exam because of its low pass percentage. Now, that lower pass percentage that I'm talking about might come to 33%, 35%, okay? Sometimes even lower as 30%. So in SBR, this pass percentage was at 50%, literally 50%, and here it can be as low as 30%. So you must have seen many students, they say, I don't want to pick up AAA. It's the most difficult paper of ACCA qualification. So yes, that's true. It is one of the toughest paper in the ACCA qualification. I've not said this about SBR. I've not said it about any other exam. But yes, I consider AAA one of the toughest exams in the whole qualification. And here you need something known as exam technique to pass. So you cannot expect yourself to pass just by knowing the syllabus. You can't expect yourself to pass just by reading the text, reading the notes. No, it's all about exam technique. And actually, if I tell you, the syllabus of this paper is like really, really easy. If you have by now, if you're, you're enrolled with me for this paper, you must have gone through your notes. And if you see, those notes are quite similar to the ones which were there in F8, the syllabus of AA. So that AAA paper is not difficult in terms of syllabus. In terms of syllabus, it is the easiest one. But when I talk about its exam technique, I'm talking about the case studies. I'm talking about the questions. That is what makes AAA really difficult to pass. Because some people are not able to manage their time. I've seen people saying, ma'am, I left 10 marker, ma'am, I left 12 marker. And then, of course, you can't expect yourself to pass. So those things are to be managed in the paper. First of all, there is a huge 50 marker case study as question number one. And in that huge case study, I have to figure out so many things, and I have to manage time also, and I have to manage professionalism also. So that is like layer by layer, every, thing is increasing for you. Layer by layer, the challenge is increasing for you. And which is why I really feel that you should get done with the syllabus, get done with the syllabus of AAA as soon as possible, ASAP, because then you would revise the syllabus and then you would practice your syllabus with the help of questions, with the help of kit questions or past papers. Now, when I talk about these questions, you might say that, ma'am, then, how can we start questions if you're not confident in the syllabus? See, with every question, with every case study, you would learn a new thing. And initially in AAA, you should definitely watch debriefs. which means initially you should take help of the tutor to solve these case studies. And then, like in childhood, we used to drive a cycle. First, we were driving on the support cycle, if you have ever driven that three-tire cycle. So let me know in the comment section if you have driven that. So we first learn driving on that, and then we shift slowly and gradually, and we remove our support. So same concept you have to apply in your practice part also. First, you'll have to drive it with your support system, which can be a debrief from tutor, okay, whether me or anyone else you are opting for. So first you have to watch that debrief, understand the strategy to type answers, understand the strategy to think about the questions. And then, once you're familiar with it, and one benefit in AAA is that the questions are repetitive. The way they ask the questions is highly repetitive because AAA cannot have so much of creativity in the questions. So if they're asking about evidences, that is a standard requirement. Write about evidences. Standard requirement, give us procedures related to this particular thing. Standard requirement, critically appraise the report. So all these things are like repetitive in nature, and you can easily manage them if you have done ample of questions. So my strategy that I want to discuss here, apart from the planner that I want to give you for this attempt, is that you need to cover the syllabus as soon as possible and move to the practice of the questions. And for the practice of the questions, if you believe that I would do it myself, I would say even if you don't want to enroll anywhere, there are many students who want to study by self-study, okay? Still, there are so many questions maybe you can find on YouTube here and there, which are debriefed. So at least watch those so that you develop a base and then move on to self-practice. Because self-practice in AAA without a guide can be hazardous. That's what I want to say. Okay. So in AAA, that's all about our strategy. Initially, the strategy, of course, then when we are in the mid-quarter, when we are in the post-result review session, then of course, I'll give you further strategies also, or 1 month before the paper, I'll give you the strategies. But for now, this is what you should know from the AAA perspective. Now, let's talk about the format of the paper. What is the format of my exam? So my exam is divided in section A and section B. So section A, we have question number 1, which is worth 50 marks. So 50 marks case study, okay? And you are going to get approximately 10 professional marks here. Now, when I talk about professional marks, you need to understand that these marks are only available for your commercial acumen, for your communication. What is communication? The type of answer that you are writing. What is the format of the answer? If they've asked you to prepare briefing notes, have you prepared it correctly? Are you giving introduction? Are you giving conclusion? Are you using professional words in your answers or not? So when I say professional marks, they are available for, being professional, like you're using professional language. It's not like SBR 1.1 mark. No, forget that. That mantra was for SBR and it has gone with SBR. But this AAA paper, it will have a lot of paragraphs being involved, a lot of concepts being involved, and a lot of professionalism, bragging around the bush when you talk about a concept in detail, but then you have to be crisp also. So you're understanding, you are walking on that thin rope. I have to write more also to fetch marks, but I have to be to the point also. Because if I would beat around the bush, then I would lose my professional marks. Then I would be repetitive. I have to be to the point, but I need more content. So the focus here is on the words, the theory. You should be knowing what is there in the concept, what is there in the ISA. So you can replicate that ISA in your exam. You can explain that in detail, shed light on it in detail in the paper. If you would just know the crux of it, if you would just know the definition of it and nothing else, then you won't be able to give as much content as possible in the answer writing. So here in AAA, it's all about that from where are you getting the content of your answer writing. You should get apt content which should be qualitative also. That means it should be professional also, plus it should be quantitative as well. So to get this content that you need to write in your answer, these ingredients that you have to put in your answer, you're going to get it from the notes that I've provided to you. Okay, so if you are part of my WhatsApp groups, or if you are a paid student, these are the notes that even I used as a student. Okay, so these are very good notes and you can just rely on them. And these are the, very, you can say, bulky notes. So you might say, ma'am, these are equivalent to the text. Why shouldn't we read the text? No, text is a little more bulkier, but these notes, they are like having a lot of things which even text doesn't have. So it's better that you refer to these ones. Okay. So they might feel like, no, ma'am, we need a crisp content. No. In SBR, it was okay to have a crisp content. In SBL, also, it is okay to have a crisp content. But in AAA, you have to read more. Why? Because if you would read something which is 200%, you would retain 100%. And maybe in the exam, you would write about 70%. So that's why I need to read something which is bulky in nature. So notes are your guide for the syllabus. You will get your content of theory from those notes. So even if you're following my lectures, the notes are your base and then they go along with the lecture, right? So if you're a paid student, it's the notes that are given to you plus the lectures that you have to combine. And that is when your course is completed. Don't expect to pass without giving weightage to notes, because in the lectures also I've explained the notes, right? That's one thing. Now, when I say professional marks, it's for being professional and for writing more theory. And secondly, you're getting professional marks for your communication also. Plus, you're getting it for not being repetitive. You should not repeat yourself in your answers. If you said one thing in the first requirement, you shouldn't be saying the same thing in the B requirement. Come up with something new. So if you've already written in a 50 marker case study, of course, there, for example, a business risk, there can be a point that you want to again, explain, but you shouldn't. You should just stick to the point answers and not being repetitive, using professional words. I'll give you an example of using professional words. I will give you an example of a good answer and a bad answer. Okay. Whenever I would meet you in the weekly live sessions, which we have on Sundays, I would show you such answers. I have many, now it's been a 1 year almost that I'm teaching AAA also after a break of 2 years. Before also I've taught this paper. But now I have many scripts of the students, so data to analyze basically. And I can share with you what are good answers and what are bad answers. I'll just give you one example of good procedure and a bad procedure. So someone who wants to perform a audit procedure. What is an audit procedure? The work performed by the auditor. These all things will be explained to you in the sessions, but audit procedure is the work performed by the auditor during the process of audit. So, for example, I want to perform some work on, let's suppose, property, plant and equipment, which is IS 16. So I want to check whether this particular property exists or not. So as an auditor, I am doubtful that the client is saying that they have a building in so-so area, but I'm doubtful. I need to check whether it exists or not. So one student wrote the bad answer. One student wrote that visit the building site to make sure that building actually exists. Now, this student is being realistic. Now, this student is writing what comes to his heart, and he's correct in writing this. He's saying, if I want to see whether the building actually exists or not, I would just visit that place. But then the auditor, papers examiner, he's offended with this. Why? Because here you're writing informal language like visit. You're using informal language like make sure. Okay? Actually, the examiner doesn't like it. You have to be communicating like you're communicating to your boss. So you can't be informal with your boss. You have to be very formal. Huh? So a good answer would be, instead of visit, I would say physically verify. That's a more professional word. Physically verify the existence of the building or the property. And see, within smaller sentence, I have written same thing but in a professional way. So I would get, even if the idea here is correct, I would get one technical mark, no doubt. I would get my one technical mark here also. But in my professional marks, I wouldn't get any mark for this. So I'll lose my professional mark. Around 1 mark, they would be negative marking. So what would it lead to? 1 minus 1, 0. You lost your professional mark because of this language. So what is the better way to write? When I am using professional words, which are crisp, good to hear, formal to hear, and we are being like, short and sweet. So physically verify the existence of the property. Audit procedure. Visit the building. These are like, you're just roaming around with the words. Now you might wonder that, ma'am, this is a very slight difference. How would we get this skill? Now, this is the skill which most of the people are missing on. And they don't even realize it until they fail with a 49. So if you're someone who's given this paper before and these are the mistakes that you've been making, and let's suppose you write something which is irrelevant. You might say, ma'am, there's no negative marking. I will not lose my marks. How does it matter? If it is irrelevant, you lose your professional marks now. You won't lose your technical marks. That's the difference in SB or in AAA. You would lose, okay? You lose your professional marks if you are not being crisp, right? When I say negative marking, that doesn't mean that actually the negative marking. I'm simply saying that there were 10 professional mark in question number 1. And one such thing you've written out of 10, you would lose 1. Then you've written something irrelevant, you lose another 1 mark. How difficult it is to understand this concept, this maths. So professional marks, yes, there's a deduction of marks from your professional marks if you are being irrelevant, if you're using informal language, right? So now I hope everyone understands the difference between good and bad answers. Now you might wonder, ma'am, who's going to teach us this? Of course, the texts are teaching you this, the notes are teaching you this, and I'm also teaching you this. So in all our lectures, we're going to learn these words, and it's not that we are making a conscious effort to learn these. As in when you step into the world of audit, you see certain words are repetitive. Physically verify is not invented or devised by me. If I was you and I was not aware of audit, I would have said this is also the correct answer. What's the bad thing in this? But then reading the notes again and again, reading the text again and again, solving so many questions from the past papers, I have grabbed this word that usually the examiner is using such kind of words. They use obtain. They don't say get, take, obtain. When they say that you have to check something, you don't use the word check. They use inspect, investigate. So such terminology you are going to pick up from your notes, okay? So you're going to pick it up from the notes. You're going to pick it up from the lectures. And of course, when you will go into the practice phase, you will also see in your answers at the back of the kit. And that is how slowly and gradually you will come to a level when these will run in your bloods. And that is why some people take time to pass this paper, because then they're not able to crack this side of the audit. They write simple answers. They might feel they are correct, but the examiner wants something else from you. He needs professionalism. So that is one thing, biggest challenge of the paper. Time management is one challenge. The professionalism is another challenge. Okay. So now let me see what is the syllabus of AAA, Advanced Audit and Assurance. My first unit is regulatory environment. Now in this, what you get to know is about the auditor. Let me explain you this. Like under which regulation the auditor is working. What is the auditor's responsibility towards laws and regulations? What are auditors' responsibilities towards fraud? What is the professional liability of the auditor? All those areas. Okay. Then ethical considerations. Auditors are supposed to follow code of ethics. And in this paper, question number 1 will have some part of ethics. Question number 2, I was telling you about the format of the paper. So question number 1 50 marks case study will have a combination of audit risk, business risk. You will be taught all these throughout the sessions. It can have some requirement related to procedures slash evidence. It can have a requirement related to ethics, or it can even have a requirement which is a direct theory question for 5 to 6 marks. So this is what is tested in the first question for 50 marks, which is a huge deal. Then when I talk about question number 2, now this one is for 25 marks. And this one is mostly related to stuff like evidence, matters to consider, where you have to explain an accounting problem. So audit and SBR are correlated. That's why I say the best paper to pick up after SBR is AAA, because then in SBR, you've learned about IFRSs, and as an auditor, you just critically analyze the accounting treatment and comment upon the misstatements, comment upon the mistakes within that accounting treatment. So you are going to pick up matters to be considered, give relevant evidence related to it. Okay. Plus, you can even get review and reporting. Review and reporting in question number 2. Now, you might ask me, ma'am, what is review and reporting? Again, you will learn this in your syllabus preparation. So, as an auditor, your motive or your objective is to give an audit opinion. You are being appointed by the shareholders because they do not trust the management. The shareholders of a company do not trust the management. So, because of this mistrust, what they do is they appoint someone who's an auditor who conducts some work on the financial statements and finally give a conclusion that whether these financial statements are true and fair or not. Okay, so for that purpose, at the end of the audit process, there is something which is issued that is known as audit report. So how to prepare that audit report? What is the content of audit report? What are the rules of audit opinion? When is it modified or unmodified? All these things you learn in review and reporting. Then question number 3. This is mostly related to other assignments. Okay. You might find something related to sustainable reporting again in here. So you can find even the current issues over here. Plus you can find your general practice management or quality control, right? So all those things you can find here, practice management. So question number 3 is kind of weak, but question number 2 is kind of easy. Question number 1 is also something which is identifiable. Question number 3 can be from any other assignment. That is also part of your syllabus. So this is how our paper looks like. And then what I have is the parts of the syllabus: practice management, quality management, planning and conducting audit. So practice management is when I talk about how should I accept the client. As an auditor, what are the acceptance procedures? Which client should be accepted, which client should be rejected? This is what is there in acceptance procedures, right? Then what else is there in practice management? In practice management, you can have acceptance procedures. You can have something known as tender document. What is a tender document? Then you have some quality management rules, ISQM 1 and ISQM 2. These are all theory parts of your audit. I do not, do it in the beginning because these are direct questions in the paper. I do smart work in AAA. You have to focus on areas which are very valuable, which are very fetching really good marks. First, get, proper mastery on them. These are very easy topics. Acceptance procedures, tendering document, when you get into an engagement. So what is the content of engagement letter? I know they're important as well, but they're easy to grasp as compared to other parts of the audit. So you have to focus on the heart and core of audit. And the heart and core of audit is that you should know the IFRSs, because if you would know the IFRSs, then only you would be able to perform work on them. So related to IFRSs, there would be an audit risk in the planning stage of the audit. Related to IFRSs only, you would be able to make procedures. Related to IFRSs only, you would be able to find misstatements, material misstatements, MMS. And related to IFRS only, you would be you will be writing evidences. So in my classes, I have picked up each IFRS and I have explained the IFRS first, given you the related risk, given you the related procedure and evidence. Material misstatement is from case to case. That can't be pre-discussed. Right? So these all things are explained in your lectures, and that is the heart and the core of the preparation. Right? Okay. Then we have completion review and reporting other assignments and current issues that I've already discussed with you. Review and reporting other assignments and everything. Now, lastly, this is my planner and this is how it looks like. First, I have money laundering and ethics. So money laundering, we are going to talk about from tomorrow. You will watch the recordings of this. I'm talking about the students who are planning to enroll with us. Now, if you don't know how to enroll, what is the process of, enrollment, then I'm just sharing it with you. You have to just simply visit tgprofs.com if you're someone who has not yet registered but want to register. So you can just take this route. Okay. Just verify that you are human. I hope this works. Okay. So anyway, the site is not visible on the board. Anyway, you're not using a board. So you can just try it on your PC. You can just go onto the website and enroll. What I want to emphasize is that if you are planning on to enroll, I've seen many students, they pay the amount and later on they realize that there was a coupon code which was running for 10% off. So make sure you apply that coupon code, okay? Because I don't want you to be that student that who you are audit students. Be skeptical, okay? If you see on the website that there's a coupon code, then you have to apply it properly and get your discount and then register. So when you are enrolling yourself, I just wanted to show you what was the coupon code, but now you can see it for yourself visiting the website. Okay, now this is the planner, money laundering and ethics. First of all, from tomorrow onwards till 22nd December, you can take a screenshot of this. And anyway, I would be posting it in the group as well and in the description of this video also. So you can download it and track your progress over here. So till 22nd September, you're going to cover these from your text or from your lectures. Live class will be on this on 22nd September. We'll have our live sessions on Sundays, mostly on these dates. And the timing remains 8 p.m. Indian time. So if you miss your live session with me, you can even join the recording of it. Like even if you're not able to watch it live, you can later on visit the recording of that live session. So 22nd September is it. Then audit planning, evidence and procedures. Now this is the heart and core. This is the heart and core of AAA that I've kept for the second week, 23rd to 6th October. See, I've given you 2 weeks for this. Because as I said, each standard explained with the related audit risk, evidence and procedure. So this is to be done in 2 weeks time. Then after the 2 weeks on 6th October, we will have a session where now I would be ready to solve a 50 marker question. Okay. So that is when we will solve our first question. So precisely you would be ready with like around 50% of your exam by 6th of October. If not 50, maybe direct theory questions are still left or maybe some parts are still left. You would be done with around 40% of your exam preparation. Okay. Then group audit 7th October till 13th October. You have to complete that portion from your portal. Then on 20th October, after the results of the September attempt, we are going to have a post-result review session where I will give you a new planner. Because I know this planner, some of you might not be even to follow this. They might procrastinate in the middle or maybe joining late, still thinking about should I join this or not. I would just tell you whether you join me or not, that is not a difference. But if you are even self-studying or studying with anyone else, please follow this planner. Because I'm requesting you that please cover your syllabus as soon as possible, because then you have to focus on practice. And when I'm talking about this planner, for the students who would be enrolling with me, don't take that mindset that they will just be doing syllabus. No, they are doing past papers along with it. When I talk about money laundering, in the section of money laundering, you would see my questions solved on money laundering. And on the live classes, I'm doing past papers only. I'm taking up your doubts and I'm solving past papers. Okay. Then post-result review session is there. Review, reporting, and other assignments. It's from 14th October to 27th October. The live class is on 27th October. Small theory areas, I would take them up in the live class. Okay, few of them like laws and regulation, fraud. Some are recorded and given to you. Now the recordings you can, you can attend the recordings according to your convenience, as per your convenience. They can be covered within 1 day also, within 2 hours also. So that's why I've not given any time schedule to it. Okay, so it is as per your convenience. Whenever you're having a breakfast and you can just listen to it, that's it. The ones which are little technical, I will teach you that in the live class after 27th October, maybe on 31st October or so, we would have a live session. Then after this, we would have our ultimate planner coming out, when we will, you have a lot of questions which are there on the portal. Right now, it's not uploaded. Okay. After the orientation, towards the end of today, the ones who are registered, you would see there would be a past exam library in the portal. Now, I'm not giving you PDFs of the question. I'm giving you debriefs of the question. So it's like there would be a lot of questions which are already solved as recordings, plus more questions we'll be solving in these live sessions. And then, of course, Super 20 would be a blend of recordings and live sessions this time. They won't be purely live sessions. It would be a blend. So this is what our ultimate planner and the whole planner would look like. So by 27th of October, effectively, I should be done with my syllabus with a simultaneous kit practice of some questions here and there, so that I'm getting an idea that, okay, what can be tested and how it is tested. So I'm not given a surprise after October that, oh, there's a whole kit that I have to cover. So in my course, what I do is I actually take this technique for all the students. The technique recommended is watch the lecture first, keep your notes side. When you're watching the lecture, keep your notes in your hand. I've given you the topic, just scroll. And even in the lecture, I tell you this page number, that page number. Keep your notes with you, okay? Get them printed if possible, spiral. And then watch the lecture, go through the notes. Then afterwards, you have to attend the live class and see the question practice. And then I'll give you a list of questions. Now that these are the questions that you can practice from your portal or from your exam kit. Now the exam kit that I use is BPP. And I even, have a lot of questions being solved from ACCA Study Hub. So it's not just that we are relying on BPP this time, but we are also doing questions from ACCA Study Hub. So because there was a new change in ACCA Study Hub, and this kit that we have used is a little bit older one. So the new questions are covered from the questions of ACCA Study Hub. But as I said, the syllabus of audit has been static throughout. Just a bit change in the way of asking was there in case of materiality. Otherwise, there was no such big, huge change. So even if you have some old kit, it works. Okay. And this is how you should be preparing yourself. And then you have to follow your in November, you have to follow your ultimate plan. In ultimate planner, I will give you a day-wise plan of question practice, that these questions are there on the portal. Today, you will watch these debriefs, do this question yourself. And of course, once we are done with every unit, there would be an assignment, like an assignment of, you can say, I won't take an assignment of money laundering and ethics. I would take an assignment. My assignments will start from 6th of October. So my assignments will start after you're done with this part, because just taking an assignment for this section won't be advisable, because that would be just 5 to 7 marks. So I don't want to waste your time and one of your assignment in this area. So 6th of October, I would start the assignments. because then you would be done, and then there would be like 2 assignments on this area that you would have covered. And then you would have next assignment on group audit, next assignment on review and reporting, and other assignments. There would be different assignment. So these assignments will be scheduled based upon the topics that we've completed, based on the planner, right? And then there would be a mock exam, of course. So only one mock is checked. I'm telling you in prior hand only. One mock is checked, another mock is debriefed, and that is the ACCA pre-mock, which ACCA lets out just before the paper, the December pre-mock paper. So that is available, and of course, only one mock is checked. For SBR also, this was the same thing. For AAA also, this is the same. So this is how the things would work. And if you would have any doubt, see, for the doubts, we have the live classes. First way of clarifying your doubts would be in the live class. It's highly recommended that you're present in the live class, but then there are some students who are not able to attend the live classes. So you can ask your doubts in a WhatsApp group that you would be part of. Okay. And you have to be patient, because it would take us around 24 hours to get back to you. We are improving on the turnaround time, but I'm like one man show, so it takes time because I have other batches to manage as well. So you would have to wait once you post your doubt. And if, let's suppose, the doubt was a little bulky one and I can't resolve it on WhatsApp, so what I'll do is I'll take up this doubt in one of the live sessions, and you can refer back to recording of that live session if you weren't able to join it live. So I'll mention in the chat box only to you in the WhatsApp group that I've covered this in this particular class. Please have a watch. If it would be a requirement of a question. So if you ask me a 7-marker question on WhatsApp, I can't explain you that. If you ask me a small doubt, that is something which can be managed over a voice note or maybe over a call, but not bulkier ones. Okay. So I hope we all understand this, and we are clear till here. And this is the planner which I've given to you. So if you have any doubts, you can just ask me in the chat box. And that's it for the orientation today. I've given you the planner. I've given you how the course looks like. Rest of the things you can just ask me in the chat box. So once you enroll, you get the access to the portal automatically over your email address. And then within 24 hours of your registration, you are added into a WhatsApp group, which is a premium paid WhatsApp group where the team members, the admin team, the support team, and I'm also there. So there you can ask your doubts. So from today onwards, that group will be active, okay, formally active. So from today, we would start our preparation. So all I want you to do now is that you make sure that first of all, you guys are positive, because I never say this in SBR paper, because in SBR everyone is positive. They have heard this so many times. It's easy paper. It's that, this, that. In AAA, I want you to be positive, because there will be so many people around you who would scare you, who would tell you this paper is this, 49 marks, I'm stuck till so many attempts. Yes, they are stuck, but you're different. You need to believe yourself. If 30% are passing, manifestation plays a very important role in life, whether you agree with me or not. See yourself in those 30%. And for that, put extra effort. Even if you have to wake up till nights, you have to put that extra effort, because this is a matter of 2.5 months only. It's not a 1-year thing, not a 2-year thing. 2.5 months. And if you have flunked this paper before and you are reattempting this paper, then you should have higher level of energy. You need to show that, okay, I am capable of passing this paper of audit. This audit paper can't have, take toll on me. I am stronger than this. So you have to put extra energy. I've seen people getting a 49 and then getting directly in 70s and 80s. So you can be the same person if you take this personally, if you take the failure personally, if you get offended with that failure and you're like, I'm going to come back with this. I'm going to show ACCA that yes, I could have passed triple in the first attempt also. And now in the second attempt, I'm going to just, do wonders. So there are many people who failed this paper before. It's okay. It happens. It's the difficult paper. Most difficult paper. I've told you it's not about the concept. The person who wrote Visit the Factory is having the right concept, but not the right strategy. So there might be some lack in strategy, and we would work on that together in the coming few months. Right? So keep smiling and all the very best. Yeah, let's pass. Is it advisable to do study hub? No, study hub, you have to just watch the lectures. Study hub questions I've solved. Just keep the notes and the lectures with you. Nothing else. If you're following me, just follow that. Is it okay to attempt AFM and AAA together? They don't have any correlation, but yes, you can. SBR and AAA together still makes sense. And AAA after SBR is better sense. You can give it. If you're a full-time student, you can. So planner, of course, I would re-share it. Like after the class, you can just, watch it again. And I would put it in the description box. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching it till here. I hope it was a helpful session. And do let me know. And all the very best. Keep smiling, be positive, and please be consistent. So may God bless you all. And let's start with this quarter with full vibe, positive vibe, and our best of the efforts and discipline. So thank you and see you all in the next live session in the next weekend. So bye and see you in the WhatsApp group after.